On the news, Lagos tanker explosion kills 5. Five rescued as troops engage abductors of Kebbi students. And court acquits Senator Muazu of 322 million naira fraud charge. Glad to have you join us on the news now. I am Fola Shadi for Green Day. The death toll from the gas tanker explosion along Mobalaji Bank, Anthony Way in Ikeja, Lagos, has continued to rise. Since Thursday night when the incident occurred, emergency and security personnel have been on the scene to restore normalcy and document the losses. TV360 Nigeria was at the scene earlier today. Details in this report. This is the extent of damage done by the gas-laden tanker explosion. It's about 10:30 p.m. on Thursday night. The fire from the explosion destroyed a large portion of the Ogun State Property Investment Company Plaza, which houses different commercial outfits, including a Chinese restaurant. By this time, the tanker had been taken away from the scene of the incident. 5 casualties were counted, 3 at the scene and 2 at the hospital. Several cars, surrounding buildings and properties worth millions of naira were also touched by the fire. Authorities say the explosion was allegedly caused by a safety breach on the tanker loaded with liquefied petroleum gas.
It was alleged to be a fault from the tanker. The valve, they said, separated from the tanker. So for the valve to separate, all the products discharged. And during this process, the vehicles on the same highway did not stop. All of them were just passing. So a lot of things could have happened. So the products have to take the airspace all over. So unfortunately, we didn't know where the fire started from, but this is OPIC, Ogun State Property Investment Corporation. It has a restaurant, a Chinese restaurant was on. They are cooking there. A lot of charged environments, so we don't know really where the fire started. However, what we did, 13 people were rescued alive. Out of the 13, 9 men, 4 women were rescued. They were taken to Lagos State University Teaching Hospital.
Recounting his losses, a business owner who described the incident as unexpected decried the damage caused by the explosion.
I have about 5 cars in the compound. 3 of them you can see behind us. There's a van there and a mobile karaoke. Thank God this was not affected, but the others are burnt to various degrees. And unfortunately, my office was looted. In fact, that's what is paining me most, because I don't see why hoodlums will take advantage of a situation where people are dead. We have dead bodies. We have a lot of people wounded. And what other people can think about is how to loot the office. Presently, I estimate that I've lost about 10 to 15 million.
Although authorities have assured that relevant agencies are doing everything possible to prevent a reoccurrence, the reality of regular fuel tanker explosions across Nigeria negates these assurances. 4 students and a teacher abducted from the federal government college Benue Yauri in Kebbi State on Thursday have been rescued by the Joint Task Force component of Operation Hadari Daji. The Deputy Force Commander of the Joint Task Force in the Northwest Zone, Air Commander Abubakar Abdulkadri, confirmed this on Friday in Zamfara State. He explained that the troops came in contact with the bandits in the early hours and engaged them in a gun duel, which forced them to abandon 5 of the students and a teacher. Sadly, one of the students, whose identity was not revealed, later died, although the military officer did not specifically state how it happened. The police in Kebbi have said rescue operations is still ongoing for the remaining missing students. President Muhammadu Buhari will be jetting off to Accra, Ghana on Saturday to take part in the 59th Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. Former President and ECOWAS Special Envoy and Mediator to Mali, Goodluck Jonathan, is expected to present a report on his latest working visit to Mali during the mid-year statutory meeting of the regional bloc. The heads of state and government will also receive a report on ECOWAS institutional reforms, single currency programs, and a memorandum on the proposed mechanism of rotation of ECOWAS member states' candidature to the chairmanship of the African Union. The Senate building of the Benue State University has been inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari. This was part of the project launched by the president during his one-day visit to the northeastern state on Thursday. Our correspondent Mary Kanu has more details.
Residents of Benue State welcomed President Muhammadu Buhari, whose visit heralded a hope of good things to come for the state. Benue State, one of the worst hit by insurgency, has become one of the most visited states by President Buhari since he assumed office. The president, whose visit was to assess the security situation in the state, also commissioned some projects executed by both the state and federal governments. The president gave assurances that peace would be restored and resettlement homes constructed for internally displaced persons in the state.
And in previous months were appointed to us that the work of defeating insurgency and terrorism and of restoring permanent peace to this region is not yet over. We will not rest until all the millions of internally displaced persons are able to return and resettle in their homes and rebuild their shattered lives. Let me also assure the people of Borno and the Northeast that we have taken decisive measures to safeguard IDPs and refugees who recently returned from Cameroon and the Niger Republic. It was part of these measures that I gave approval for the federal government to build 10,000 settlement homes in Benue State. 4,000 of these homes have already been completed.
Buhari also said efforts are on to provide more amenities and ensure constant supply of electricity for residents.
I have directed the NNPC to expedite the delivery of 50 megawatts power plant in order to ensure the prompt restoration of electricity to Maiduguri and its environment. I have also issued directives for the immediate resumption of oil and gas exploration activities in the lakeside basin. This is part of our overall effort to restore the state back to normalcy.
Governor Babagana Zulum thanked the president for his commitment to the restoration of peace in Benue State.
President Muhammadu Buhari is sincerely, genuinely, and fiercely committed to ending the Boko Haram scourge in this state. With the ceaseless sincerity of Mr. President, with the gallantry of our troops, of multinational forces, of the volunteers, and with our civilian cooperations and prayers, inshallah, Boko Haram will soon come to an end in the northeast and Nigeria.
The Senate building commissioned by the president in the Benue State University was established in 2016 and consists of 103 offices and a Senate chamber. Mary Kanu, TV360, Nigeria.
Kaduna State Governor Nasser El-Rufai says the government has kicked off the implementation of its right-sizing policy by disengaging 99 political appointees. At a media chat with journalists on Thursday, El-Rufai listed those affected to include the 23 local government councils, State Universal Basic Education Board and the Primary Healthcare Board. According to the governor, the disengaged political appointees constitute 30% of the total number of political office holders in the state. He, however, said the state government is yet to disengage any civil servant, as only agencies connected to the local government system have disengaged staff. Moving on, the Lagos State Federal High Court in Ikoyi has discharged Senator Peter Nwabushi of the 322 million naira money laundering charge filed against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. In a two-count charge, the EFCC alleged that the defendants committed the offence of money laundering between May and June 2014 in Lagos. But in his judgment, Justice Chukwuejeku Aneke ruled that the anti-graft agency failed to prove the elements of the offences for which it charged the lawmaker. Nwabushi currently represents Delta North senatorial districts in the National Assembly. We'll take a break here, but still to come, Chadians protest in Abuja over military rule in home country. Now let's take a recap of some of our top stories. The death toll in the tanker explosion that rocked the Mobolaji Bank Anthony area of Ikeja in Lagos State has risen to 5, while over 10 injured persons are receiving treatment at the hospital. Authorities say the explosion was allegedly caused by a safety breach on the tanker loaded with liquefied petroleum gas. We also told you that 4 students and a teacher abducted from the Federal Government College Benue Yari in Kebbi State on Thursday have been rescued. The Deputy Force Commander of the Joint Task Force in the Northwest Zone, Air Commander Abubakar Abdulkadri, said troops came in contact with the bandits in the early hours of today and engaged them in a gun duel. Sadly, one of the students later died. In case you missed any of our news bulletin, or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. And now into COVID-19 cases and stories. For the 13th consecutive day, Nigeria recorded 0 casualty, maintaining the coronavirus death toll at 2,117. However, infection rates are still rising, with the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, reporting 39 cases in the past 24 hours. According to the Public Health Agency, the new cases were reported from 6 states. Lagos leads with 34 cases, while Ebonyi and Ekiti recorded 1 case each. Others are FCT, Jigawa and Rivers, also with 1 infection each. To date, 163,535 cases have been discharged in hospitals and isolation centers across 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. A total of 10,476 new COVID-19 cases and 11 deaths has been recorded in the United Kingdom within 28 days of positive test. According to the latest figures released by the government, 42.5 million people had received their first vaccine dose and 30.9 million had received both shots. UK infections have risen slightly in the last week, with an estimated 119,000 people, up from 110,000 positive for the virus. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Boris Johnson says he's confident restrictions in England can be eased on the new target date of 19th of July. We take a break here and return with more stories and business. Do stay with us.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Well, let's now join Mary Cannon to bring us up to speed on the latest in the world of business and the stock market.
Thank you, Folashade. And now in business, the federal government has set up an online portal for farmers to ensure efficient and effective monitoring of its intervention in the agricultural sector. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Sabo Nanono, disclosed this while speaking during the opening ceremony of the 44th Council meeting of the National Council on Agriculture and Rural Development. The initiative is expected to capture the biodata of farmers and link it with the geographical information of their farm plots, crops, and the volumes of production in the country. The minister also added that the database will be a platform for the federal government interventions to put an end to ghost schemes and other ill practices in the agricultural industry. And oil prices fell for a second straight session on Friday as the US dollar soared on the prospect of interest rate hikes in the United States, but they were on track to finish the week little change. Brent crude futures were down 45 cents at $72.63 a barrel, extending a 1.8% decline on Thursday, while US crude futures fell 33 cents to $70.71 a barrel. The dollar has rocketed in the two sessions since the US Federal Reserve projected possible rate hikes in 2023 earlier than market watchers previously expected. But we'll take a breather here and return with a review of the stock market. Stay with us. It's another win for the bull at the equities market as a modern rebound due to bargain hunting by investors was recorded rounding up the trading week. At the close of today's session, the total value of listed equities climbed higher as market capitalization closed at 20.143 trillion naira, while the primary gauge of the market sentiment rose by 0.09%, largely from the gains of some listed high-value stocks. Meanwhile, sectoral performances across key counters of listed equities saw the financial services sector, represented by Consolidated, Hallmark, and Royalex, top the gainers chart with 10 kobo. However, the volume of shares traded for today was significantly higher than the previous session, as 220 million units were traded in 2,952 deals. Now, inversely, Mutual Benefit and Ikoyi Insurance ended as the worst of 10 losers with 7 kobo losses. Now, on the global scene, for a second consecutive day, foreign stocks are still suffering heavy setbacks as a result of the announcement by the Federal Reserve of a possible rate hike, which wiped out gains recorded so far. The markets are currently trading at 1.90% for FTSE, while Dow Jones is trading at 1.28%, and Asian stock Nikkei is currently trading at 0.19%. Well, that's all on Stock Market Review. Over to Folashade for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Mary. Moving on now to the foreign scene, some Chad nationals in Nigeria have marched to various diplomatic missions in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, calling on the international community to wade into the crisis rocking their country and see to the restoration of a democratically elected government. The group is also accusing the French government of undue interference in the affairs of Chad.
What is going on in Chad is lawful, unconstitutional, is a military coup. Military junta are there, are illegitimate, they don't represent the will of Chadians, they are not for Chad, they are not for Chadians. We are denouncing the military coup. What we are demanding for a democratic system, democratic government, civilian government. Enough of militarization of our nation, enough of military rule, enough of military dictatorship. Throughout our history, from 1960 to date, we haven't gotten single president, no single president voted in or out by vote. All are military juntas, all are military dictators. Enough and enough.
Well, up next is Entertainment Report.
Benue singer and songwriter Angelique Kidjo is a listed Grammy Award-winning Nigerian artist, Burna Boy for Mother Nature, a forthcoming album. The 60-year-old Grammy Award winner has unveiled the track list of the project scheduled for release on Friday. The pair will be collaborating for Do Yourself, the fifth track on the much-awaited album. With numerous awards and recognition, the duo have continued to pull the strings in the global music landscape. Fans of the popular reality television show Big Brother Naija are in for a fun time on the BB Naija Lockdown Reunion show. The show, which premiered on Thursday, will revisit some highlights and memorable moments from the 2020 Season 5 edition that saw Khan emerge as the winner. BB Naija viewers from across the world will see their favorite lockdown housemates set records straight about grudges they owed against each other on the reunion show. It will also enable fans to relive some of the passionate moments on the lockdown edition, as well as the heated moments. And that is all that's well for you on the entertainment segment of News Now.
Away from entertainment, now to sports. Enoch Adegoke and Blessing Okagbare have emerged Nigeria's fastest man and women respectively at the 100-meter events at the Athletes Federation of Nigeria Olympic trials. Both athletes put up a stunning performance at the trials held at the sports complex of the Yaba College of Technology, Lagos on Thursday. Our correspondent Mujisola Matomi tells us more.
A year after the biggest sporting event in the world, Tokyo Olympics 2020, was hit by the coronavirus pandemic, the event is now set to commence. With a few weeks left, Nigerian athletes are getting themselves prepared for the global competition. Fans thronged the Yaba College of Technology Sports Complex in Lagos to witness the opening day of the 2021 National Olympic Games trial. Nigeria's undisputed queen of the track, Blessing Okagbare, showed a glimpse of what to expect in the semi-final heat when she stormed to a 10.63 seconds finish to win the women's 100-meter title. The rave of the moment, Enoch Adegoke also clinched the men's 100-meter race in 10 seconds.
Presently, we are being camped. And then the most important thing is for me now is, the Minister of Youth and Sport, Honorable Sunday Dare, adopted me like a month ago, and the support actually had a very good effect on my performance because I had I had funds to prepare myself for the training. Thinking less about money. It's very important in the life of an athlete. It's been long. I've been looking for a time like this. Every competition is always on my mind. I have to run the qualification standard. I have to, run good times. But then, God's time is always the best.
For me, it was like really executing my race today, and the time came. Nothing beats that for me. And I don't know what I think I'm still going to go back to my coach because he will still tell me that race was not perfect. That's what coaches do. But for me, it means that training has been going well. Everything you've been doing, and that result came. So we'll see what we can do to improve and probably run faster at the same time and see how we can. Now it's focusing on getting on the podium in Tokyo.
On his part, the Minister of Youth and Sports, who was there to witness all the action, assured that the Nigerian contingent is fully ready with support from the federal government.
Nigeria is prepared. Our Olympic team is prepared. The national trials you are seeing right now, you can see that we are prepared. These athletes are ready for ruthless execution of their skills. And then when you see the 8-nation invitationals we're going to have in a couple of days, you will see our relay team come out all ready. So we're ready.
All eyes are on Team Nigeria to do the nation proud at the delayed Tokyo Olympics, which is set to begin on July 23rd and end on August 8, 2021.
Well, that was, of course, a very good performance by those athletes. Well, it's a wrap on our news bulletin. Thank you for watching. I am Fola Shadi Ogurinde.